What's up, guys? Mike here from Allstar Tactical. We are out in Buffalo at one of our dealers, Scarpman Arms. I'm here with Frank Morabito, also of Bull Creek Strategic. I'm sure you guys have heard us talk about their training and good stuff out here. I don't have my normal camera or my microphone, so sorry if it sounds like shit. We're actually going to talk today about gun store etiquette. So a bunch of this has kind of come up over the last, say, 6-7 months, with everything from COVID to the riots and everything going on. The entire gun industry has seen a crazy surge of new shooters. So not only do we want to talk about walking into a gun store for your first time as a new shooter, I also wanted to sort of give a public service announcement to all my fellow gun shop owners, gun shop employees, and people that just generally work in a gun shop. So this kind of hit home the other day. Leave it to Cameron to get all pissed off and get me pissed off. He had received probably the 30th call of the day asking if we had 12 gauge ammo lowers or ARs or whatever. So he hangs up the phone and yells some obscenity, walks off and cries like a little bitch. And I thought to myself, I was like, okay, so I said to him, I was like, look, you might be the 18th time you answered that same exact question that day. But that person that called you, that could be their first time not only calling your shop, but maybe the first time actually calling a gun store in general. Let's say they just decided to become a new gun owner. It's time. Yes, as gun owners, we're like, about time. But to them, this could be a big deal, a big decision, whether they had to talk about it with their family, their significant other, or whatever. But this is a big decision to them. If you put a sour taste in their mouth, you're the first person they call, and just because you were pissed that it was the 18th call of the day, you give them attitude, or they get some rubbed the wrong way, you may not just send them to another gun shop, which is bad in its own. You may turn them off from guns completely. You may send them into fuck all gun owners. They're assholes. I can't believe I thought this was going to be a good idea. Now I'm not doing it for sure. So that's my public service announcement there. It sucks to answer the same call a billion times a day. I get it. I do it. All my employees do it. But I tell them all, it's like, as good representatives of the people of our industry, we don't want to be the reason that you turn somebody who is borderline 2A friendly into somebody who is now anti. Okay, that's even worse. So would you care to agree some of the things you see in your shop here?
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. I mean, we get the same phone calls all the time. Same thing about ammo. Everybody wants to have ammo. Last thing you want to hear is that 30th phone call, do you have that ammo in stock? No, sir, we don't, but we get some in on a random basis. Well, can I get put on a list? That's the next thing we get asked. Can't do that because then it's unfair to everybody else who's waiting for ammo to come in. So, as I was saying before, when me and Mike were talking about it, is we go back to that old movie Roadhouse, is be nice until it's time to not be nice. So no matter what, because you don't know who's on the other end of that phone. That person could be somebody who's really, really important or someone who has a lot of connections to something. Sure. So you being nice to that one person could lead to 2 more sales. Yep. Those 2 more sales could lead to 10 more sales just because you're nice. It's just common
and I'm not even looking at it like a money standpoint. Yeah. I'm looking at it like that guy could be important enough that tells 10 people that it's a bad idea.
Yeah, those guys fucking suck.
Right. Or just in general, gun owners suck.
They're all bunch of assholes.
Right. So that's what we don't want to do. So that's just our general message out there to other gun shop owners, employees, everything. Something to think about, especially if you're considering working in this industry. Just something to think about. So let's change gears real quick and talk about, proper gun etiquette for coming into a gun shop. First of all, whether you're a new gun owner or a very seasoned gun owner, do not walk in with a loaded gun and point it at the employee and say, does this work? I'm having trouble with this.
Doesn't eject right. Can you check this out?
I remember, I think it was SHOT Show one year. We decided to visit a couple gun stores in the area. And it literally happened while we were in the store. Guy did the same thing, took out a revolver and said, it won't fire, and went through a full cylinder of dry fire with live ammo in it, pointed at the clerk. The dude said he had to go home for the day.
No.
So, number one, our policy is if you have a loaded gun coming into the shop, it's on you. that's okay.
Yeah.
If you're bringing something in for repair or to sell, consignment, whatever, it should be unloaded.
Yeah.
You know,
And
in a case is nice.
And if it's not unloaded, like, hey, I've got this, my 19 that's on me right now. Hey, it's kind of acting funny. Like, it just kind of popped into my head. Do you think you can take a look at it? Sure. Let's step around the back, obviously.
Right.
Like, unload it, show clear, check
Right.
in.
Most shops should have like a safe area.
Yeah.
You know, you have a concrete floor here, fairly safe. We have a rubber block that's like a clearing block that, you know,
Like
make
a
your,
competition staging area, basically.
right, like make your gun safe before handing it over to somebody. Second thing that kind of goes right along with that, handing a gun over to the employee. Slide lock back, you know, visually, physically inspect that it's open and clear and hand it barrel down.
Anytime I pull a gun off the shelf here, someone wants to look at it, like, say, we don't have that many, obviously, we don't have that many guns and like handguns in stock right now.
So I don't think anybody does.
So what I do is I go in my office and I take handguns off of my wall. I'll bring them out, unload them, or slide to the rear, set them on the table so they can look at them. And when they pick them up, then they can lock the slide forward if they want to. But handing them the slide lock to the rear, they then see the proper handgun etiquette or the safety etiquette when it comes to handling the firearm.
Right, especially if they're new owners. We're the first interaction they have. This is their first carry gun. That's their first interaction. Is how we're handling it. That's going to ingrain in them. If you're a sloppy gun employee is handling it to them, that may go into their head is that's okay.
Yeah.
You know, whereas we didn't even do our normal safety rules in the beginning of my get educated, but you know, treat all guns as if they're loaded. You know.
Don't point the muzzle or anything.
Right, toy. I was going to elaborate and say that, like, even a toy.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
My kids, I mean, I've got a 7-year-old and a 4-year-old, and a lot of people know what I've done for a living in the past. And once they were in diapers, I'd sit there and just clean guns in front of them. You can ask my 7-year-old now, hey, what are the 4 formal safety rules? And he doesn't get them picture perfect, but he has a general gist of it. He's 7 years old. He knows more than half the gun owners out there, probably.
Same with my 11 and 12-year-old. We have the simulator in our shop, the expensive video game basically. And for a long time, when they would come after school and hang out and they wanted to play on it and do the steel challenges and stuff, they wouldn't even get to pick up the inert gun until they told me the 4 safety rules.
I'm the same with Nerf guns with my kids. Is people look at me like I'm an asshole for it, but a Nerf gun, don't point it at anybody. There's a time to play Nerf, and there's a time not to. So when we're playing Nerf, by all means do it. But if you're in the house, we're just sitting there and all of a sudden you shoot your brother with it, hey, it gets taken away. When they want it back, tell me the 4.0 safety rules in like a week or so. You get it back. As soon as you screw it up, it gets taken away again. There's a time, there's a place for everything, and that's how you can teach the younger generation how to respect firearms.
Yeah. I was gonna. I can't think of what I was just gonna say. I wanted to get your opinion on. As far as I'll come back to that then. So, in addition to coming into a gun store as a new owner, you know, don't be afraid to ask questions. You know, that's what we're there for. We train all our employees to respond to the questions. No questions are dumb. You know what I mean? It again goes back to you probably were asked that 50 times that day alone, but you know, hopefully you're walking into a gun store that the employees are well versed in what you and I are talking about right now, and they'll be willing to help you.
Yeah, I mean, with Bull Creek, I mean, with Scarpman too, but with Bull Creek is some people like, oh, I'm not ready for your classes. That's too high level for me. Like, no, it's not. Like, everybody has to start somewhere. Start from that bare bone basics. Ask questions. Like, that's how I teach is you have to ask. Like, Jake's taken tons of classes with us, and I teach open-ended, so I'm not very thorough. I'm not as deep as you would look on paper because I want you to ask that question, because if you ask the question, it's then going to resonate up in your dome piece to, hey, I asked that question and I was wrong. Now I know the right answer to it. If you don't ask the question, it's never going to stay.
Let me elaborate on that, because that's one of the most important. Like, I almost got into an argument with my wife about this with disciplining kids, and I applied it to something I learned from Rob Pincus years ago. And I'm sure it's done similar for you. Is, you know, the targets that have like the numbers and colors in the triangles, right?
Cognitive thinking process.
So, and you're telling them put 1 in the 1, put 1 in the 2, 1 at a time, right? And so Rob Pincus went into this whole cognitive thing about why you don't let the shooter shoot a second time or shoot until they get it. And what it comes down to is that the brain learns when it has a dopamine drop. So if you're saying with the kids, it's like, yeah, it sucks. You feel bad as a parent to look at your kid hang his head or be upset about something. But that's when the brain learns not to do it. And same with shooting. You know, if don't be afraid to As an employee, if you're going to come in and a customer, you make a mistake as a customer, and the employee grabs the muzzle and pulls it out of the way, and maybe overreacts a little bit.
Yeah.
As a customer, don't lose your cool. Don't get so upset. Yes, you made a mistake, and it's important to learn about that. But
it's a big mistake.
But realize that to us as training people and gun store owners, that's a big deal.
Yeah, it's a huge deal. And then other people are going to see that and be like, okay, he did something wrong. I need to not do that.
Right. Yeah.
Current question. Let's see. What do I need to get a rifle, and how do I sign up for classes? Also to learn how to clean the gun and things of that nature. You guys want to answer that?
So, I'll start getting a rifle, either store. If we have stock, valid driver's license, pass the instant background check. Definitely, if it's your first rifle, first shotgun, get into a class like with Frank. Cleaning classes and stuff like that, we can do at our shop. I'm sure you guys do basic stuff. As far as training, I'll let you give your spiel on getting people into that.
Yeah, so like I said before, it doesn't matter what your background is. A technique class is a technique class. Always revert back to the basics. It doesn't matter who I've worked with. It doesn't matter how special they were. If they were an operator, doesn't fucking matter. Always go back to the basics because you can always learn something new. And you come to one of my classes, you've got law enforcement, military, civilians, you've got IT nerds, you've got a whole wide variety of people coming to these classes. And everyone, usually they're nervous when they show up because, hey, that guy could be a better shooter than me. No one cares about that. Because you're coming to the range, everyone's there for the same thing. Everyone wants to learn something new. So it's a very open atmosphere. And the thing is those guys that are around you, yeah, they might possibly be a better shooter, but they're also there to help you out. Because there's only one of me or there's two of me on the range teaching. So if I can't get to that person automatically, someone who's been to a class like Jake can take you to the side, like, hey man, like, why don't you try this and do this? Let me help you with this. So it's very open. Like it's not as scary as everybody makes it out to be. Once you get your first class done, you get those jitters out of the way, it just becomes fun, it becomes a hobby. All of our classes though, they're all on bullcreekstrategic.com. You can also go to Escarpment Arms to the training side, and you can click on there and it'll take you over to our 2021 schedule. It's half up right now. We're out until June, I think, but we've got more classes this year that we're adding, like non-permissive rifle, non-permissive carbine, practical handgun, which is going to be based off of a CCW class. So we're not going to go too much into retention style shooting. We're going to talk a lot more about like sitting down, gas pumps, ATMs, practical everyday use.
And that's actually, we do our 3-4 hour intro class, which is no live fire, almost just strictly New York State laws, handgun selection, just a very broad. We try to get these people that are afraid to maybe go into a class and afraid to maybe even come and pick up a handgun. So we do this $40 class it's almost to get people's feet wet and feel a little more comfortable.
That's good.
That would probably be a great stepping stone to get them into your, your intro handgun class.
100%.
Absolutely.
Anything like that.
And I think we're going to work on getting you out to Rochester too for a couple dates to do some classes there.
Yeah.
Another question that kind of piggybacks off of what you just said. Steven said, isn't it better to do classroom basics before you learn any bad habits?
Yes and no. I mean, classroom can only go so far. The thing with classroom is you can learn the basics. Like you can learn, hey, don't point your gun at this. Hey, you can hold it like this. But you're not going to learn trigger reset. You're not going to learn about understand how to actually hold the gun you'll understand how to hold the gun, but you're not going to understand how to mitigate recoil until you actually shoot the gun. And a level 1 class or a technique class or a pistol 1 class, that's what those courses are based off of. It's 7 hours of fundamentals. Yeah, the first 3 hours are static. After lunch, then it gets into a little bit of movement. But we're literally taking you from this is how you hold the gun, this is how your hands meet the gun, this is how you pull the trigger, this is how you do this is how you accept recoil. So it goes
and I think
over all
going
those
through
basics.
a class like that is what helps you prevent you from developing.
Yeah, I
those
have
bad
tons of
habits.
people that come to the class that are brand new shooters that have never even shot their gun before, and they come to an open enrollment handgun technique class, and they walk away a completely different person with an open mindset. I've got guys who've been shooting for 20 years. I've got SWAT teams I've worked with who've been shooting for 20 years, who they come and take a fundamentals class, and then they start reverting back like, holy shit, I can't believe I haven't been doing this for so long. Like,
Right.
how did
Or
I forget
can't
about
believe
this?
why am I doing this the wrong
Exactly.
way the whole time?
Yeah.
And that actually piggybacks back to the whole reason for this live is come into the gun store with an open mind.
Yes.
All right, we get a lot of people that maybe spent all their time on Facebook groups or forums, and they already had their mind set that I want the smallest LCP to carry. Come into the shop with an open mind. The employees at the shop, we're very well versed. We've been through these. We've fired probably every, if not all, the styles of handguns that we carry, and we're good at guiding you. We're not trying to push you, and certainly I tell my guys it's not a money sale.
No,
we want you to have, regardless of money, we want, if something doesn't at least fit you, from that standpoint, it's not going to work for you. So it's important that have an open mind that maybe what you thought you were coming in to get may not be what actually works for you. It's like the old metal shoe thing that you would go in and they'd measure your foot before buying shoes.
Yeah.
Jake had no idea that was a real thing. He's too young.
Jesus. Yeah, so like the biggest thing that we get is when someone comes in, hey, I just got my pistol permit. I want to get a concealed carry gun. Immediately, I'm going to try and pull you away from that mindset, because if you come to class with someone like me or someone like you or whoever it is, immediately you're going to realize that a concealed carry gun was the wrong answer, because you don't. It's hard to understand what you're doing wrong when you don't have a ton of real estate on that gun to control. So you're going to be constantly thinking like, well, why am I dropping the shot here? Why am I dropping the shot there? So I try and move people more towards a full-size gun like a Glock 19, an M&P 9, something of that stature, because then if you learn on that gun,
learn your basics and then
and then carry with that style gun, because it's a bigger gun, get a better holster. That's the biggest thing, is everyone's like, oh, well, it's hard to carry. We'll get a better holster.
Yeah.
You get a better holster, and then you carry that Glock 19 or that M&P 9 for a year. All right, I understand.
Full-size Glock 19 with a red dot.
I understand this concept. You know what? I'm going to move back down. I'm going to move down to a concealed carry gun, and then typically they'll carry it for like a month or two, and then they'll go back to their full-size gun because they realize how easy.
And a lot of the manufacturers now, you carry a Glock 19, and or not carry, but let's say you train and you get all your skills early on with the Glock 19, you could move to like a 43 or 43X. And probably be very proficient.
Oh, yeah. Because you understand what you're doing wrong.
Carry, but the gun is, all the mechanics, everything is still kind of there.
Yeah, because then you can understand what you're doing wrong. Like I said, typically someone comes to class with a CCW gun and they can't figure out, like I can tell you all day what you're doing wrong and how to fix it, but if you don't understand the process, you're never going to fix it. So I give them my 17 or my 19, they start shooting, like, well, why am I shooting good now? Like, well, because you understand the basics, the fundamentals. Yes. Shoot some more with it, then go back to your concealed carry. Like, okay, well, I'm anticipating my shot.
Why it doesn't?
Yeah, work. I'm anticipating my shot. My grip was shitty, or my trigger pull was shitty. Because that's the biggest thing too, is trigger pull. Everyone's like, oh, you need to use this part of your finger. Man, you can't tell someone that. Your finger's different than my finger. It's not going to be the same spot. You have to figure that out.
I always hated that chart. Yeah, where your bullet went told you what you did wrong.
Yeah. The only one I like is where it says, do good, you suck.
Right.
All the way around.
That's a good one. I like that. So yeah, really, there's really not a lot to coming into a gun store as a new gun owner. For our seasoned gun owners,
you've got expectations.
They do, but give us a little bit of a break now. We're 10 times busier than everybody else is right now. So we're stressed, but we'll get to you. And going on that, like sort of, I got you here, so I'm gonna utilize promoting you as much as I can. The new shooters, absolutely. Go get training.
Yes.
Because even if you're buying your, Mossberg 500 pump that you're going to put in the wall, you do shotgun classes?
I don't do shotgun classes. I've got a love-hate relationship with shotguns.
Fair enough.
But it is something that we have, because it's something that Escarpment's looking into offering.
Sure.
Bull Creek's going to stay more towards the carbine handgun side of things. Escarpment, that's kind of where we're going to point towards. Hey, this is a shotgun. This is the basic.
Maybe that's an area we can help out with, or in Rochester too. Yeah. Actually, one of the best classes I've ever taken was Wes Doss's shotgun class, and I learned more about the shotgun than I had ever thought I would learn.
Oh, there's a lot that goes.
It was right before I started shooting 3-gun, and I think that actually helped me with the shotgun side of the 3-gun, because I'm not a shotgun guy either. I never really liked getting punched in the shoulder that hard.
Yeah. Well, my thing with it is it goes back to my contracting days, where every round that comes out of the end of that barrel, there's a lawyer attached to it.
Yeah.
So every time you pull that trigger, a lawyer flies out. When you have a shotgun, typically people use buckshot or a slug. So now you've got buckshot. you've got 6 lawyers shooting out the end of that
Sure.
barrel that you can't control. So if you miss or you hit that target and you miss half of it,
Right.
now you have 3 lawyers that are flying past that person into the wall, into the next room, whatever it may be. So that's my big thing.
That's one myth though we can talk about with the
Yeah.
shotgun is they don't shoot.
No, they don't. They're not.
You know,
That's
this big
Yeah.
in a room clearing
Oh, yeah.
distance or bedroom in your own house. You're still got to aim. It's not
Yeah.
like point and shoot. So, and that's why I'm getting at, you're buying your first gun, you want to use it to defend yourself and your family. Get some training. I think it's important. Questions?
Chris had a question going back to purchasing in store. Said brand new to all this, looking at handguns online. If I find something online and purchase it and have it sent to your shop, is that looked at as disrespectful versus coming into the store and purchasing that way?
That's a great question, and I'm going to address it this way. Not disrespectful. Probably the most respectful thing you could do is call the store that you're looking at a gun, whether it be mine, escarpment, or whatever. Give them the opportunity to, one, if they can get close to the price. And if not, it's not disrespectful. Now remember, when you buy that gun online, you're paying shipping and the transfer fee. All right. And if something's wrong with that gun, you're dealing with the person you bought it from that is not your local gun store. For me, I love to shop local. I'm maybe not like everybody, but I'm willing to pay more to eat local, buy things local if I can. And I'm not trying to sell myself as a business, and I'm sure you guys have the same mentality. The transfer is the transfer. We're doing the paperwork, you're paying us the fee. But I think there's something to be said that if there's an issue with the purchase, with the transaction, you're not dealing with the guys that's doing that. All we're doing is the background check.
Yeah.
You got to go deal with somebody else.
Yeah, like right now, times are different too. So it's hard to get any gun. But like Mike said, call us. Hey, do you have this? No, we don't. Okay, can I come in and talk about some guns? Yeah, come in and talk about it.
Sure.
We're gonna look up to see if we can get that gun for you. And
Right.
if we can't get it the price that you want it at, or we can't get it at a good price that we feel comfortable selling it for,
Sure.
we've got no issues being like, hey, it's over here on this website. You can get it for a good price because we can't beat that price or we can't budge ourselves that much because then we're losing money.
And right now it's so crazy. Like we'll go onto a distributor website and it'll just say allocated.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you guys see that all the time. And
My least favorite word.
right, you don't. All that means is you have no idea. They don't even know if they have it.
Yeah.
And so when you're coming in and we look it up and we see that, all I can say is, well, I don't know.
Yeah.
And as a customer, be okay with that. Be okay with the I don't know answer. These times are weird right now, but we're okay with telling you go on a gun broker, go somewhere and look online. Some of these might be 10, 20 times bigger, either retailers or straight online only.
They
and they're
buy
buying
40 to 50
right.
guns at a time. We can't compete. Same with ammo.
Right.
The biggest thing we get with ammo is, oh, that's expensive. It's like, yeah, but you don't realize we're only covering a certain amount. Like we can't lose money off the sale, so
Right.
we're only charging enough to make our money
Right.
back off
And
right now because of how the times are.
And I will address this too. We're not just not buying a lot of ammo. I would buy an entire pallet of ammo to sell to you guys right now if I could, but my distributors say you can have a case.
Yeah.
And we have to deal with that, and it's a case at this price.
Yeah.
You want it or you don't.
Yeah.
And that's what we deal
It
with
sucks.
right
It's
now.
horrible.
Yeah.
I mean, I shoot 30,000 rounds or more of 9mm and 5.56 a year. So for me right now, it's horrible trying to teach
Yeah.
classes too, because now my prices for teaching have to go up because I have to allocate money towards my
what you're
instructor shooting,
Right.
me shooting, and everything just goes up because of
And
that.
I know me, I started doing more just dry fire in the bedroom because
Yeah.
I if I get ammo in, how could I, as an
Take it for
employer, take it for myself when I should be selling it
Yeah.
or getting it out to my customers?
Yeah. Oh, me and Joe got rid of a lot of. Well, Joe did because I can't get rid of my ammo because obviously I teach with it.
Sure, it's
But I
much
mean,
more useful.
Yeah, Joe.
for
He got rid
part
of half
your
his
business.
ammo just to give to
Yeah.
customers because customers wanted it. And then we had customers that actually came in and sold us ammo back, like Bull Creek sold us ammo that they bought from Escarpment just so I could keep teaching classes.
Wow, that's pretty awesome.
Thank you.
Any other questions, Jake? All right. Anything you want to add, Joe? I know Joe's out of frame here.
Come on, Joe. get
You
over
guys, you guys might remember Joe from such videos as he brought me and iced me in our shop. But so Joe is one of the other halves of Escarpment right here. Anything you want to add to like the general, whether it be employee etiquette or customer etiquette?
Yeah, employee etiquette. I mean, Mike spoke a lot about it. Be nice to people. At the same time, we expect our guys to stand up, do the right thing by the customers. It's not always about making that money sale, but making sure somebody's in the right product that's going to be appropriate for their use. But also try not to get frustrated with the staff that we're not setting the prices to try and gouge. Like Mike mentioned, we're getting told this is the price for that product, whether you want it or not. Here you go. So we're doing our best to try and get stuff out to
I
people.
mean, I actually had a conversation on Facebook with an admin on a machinist group. I was talking to them. And they were talking about prices being crazy. And like, I've told all my guys, I refuse to sell above MSRP.
Right.
I'll go to MSRP or whatever we need to be at for what we're buying it for. But you got to remember, as gun shop owners and employees, if you're selling a box of like 5.56 for $30 for 20 or something, some insane amount of money, those customers, because if they're feeling like they have to buy it, they're going to remember when everything kind of gets back to the normal again. You're going to be pissed that you took advantage of them.
Yeah. And we have formulas that we figure out how to basically break even on ammo right now.
Yeah.
Of all right, it sucks we're paying over $20 a box for this ammo. What do we have to mark it up with or to break even? Sure. Just to get it out to people.
I mean, from a business standpoint, customers should understand that typical retail across the board, you're making 15 to 20%
on a good day.
On a good day. So it's not like we're raking it in as everybody probably thinks we are.
If you think that like we got into the firearms industry to make money, can you do it? Yes, you can, but you're highly mistaken. Is because like teaching, everyone's like, oh, like that must be amazing. Like you must kill it. Like no, I don't. Like I didn't get into teaching to make money. Like it is a byproduct of it, but we don't make what you think we make.
Right.
Like I still have to pay for insurance. I have to pay for range fee. I have to pay for my instructors to teach. I have to pay for targets. I have to pay for ammo.
And they're hard, long days. People don't realize that on the you take a class, but you as an instructor probably taught the class on Saturday, probably teaching the one on Sunday to make be able to live a good life.
You're only running maybe 5
to 7 hours a day.
Yeah, you're running like maybe 400 yards in a class. I did that class twice already in the past weekend, so I just ran over 1,000 yards, if not more, because I had to demo it 3 times, and then everybody wants to compete against
pull all your targets out. And I think people, I know a lot of people in the training industry, but I think even when I was trying to go towards that direction with getting certified and various stuff, people don't like it. Seems glamorous.
Yeah, it does.
To gun owners, the training is to be an instructor seems glamorous, and I don't think it is as much as people think it is.
It's not.
Look at like Ian and some of the people that have to travel the country to do their classes.
Oh yeah, people don't realize that's why 2021 Bull Creek's kind of staying home based for the most part. We're not doing as much traveling because it takes a toll.
Sure.
I stopped deploying and everything like that so I could stay home with my family, and then I started teaching, and then I started traveling 1 to 2 weekends a month. Now that's 1 to 2 weekends a month away from my family, and then the business starts getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Now more people want you to come to different areas. Well, shit, I could just be deployed making more money, but I choose to give back the gifts that I was giving.
Stay home.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yep.
There was
Frank, question for you on laser dry fire systems.
Yeah. What was it?
What do you guys feel about laser dry fire systems out there?
Laser dry fire systems. There's the Cool Fire Trainer, which is really, really cool. It's expensive, but it is a really, really neat product in itself. Dry fire bags. So here's the thing, you can get around the whole spending $600-700 on the dry fire or the Cool Fire system. You can just go buy a cheap laser that attaches to a Picatinny rail for $10 on Amazon, and then go buy the $120 dry fire mag.
The mag resets.
Where the mag resets it. So all you're looking at is using that laser just to see how
and
much.
That's only for. Let's mention it's only for striker fire guns.
Yeah.
Anything with a hammer, just attach a laser to it, and you can do it. Other options would be SIRT guns.
Yeah, SIRT guns. SIRT guns are good, but my issue with SIRT guns is the trigger feels fake. They're it's
clicky. It feels like a keyboard.
Yeah, it's not. It's like a mouse on your computer. Yep. It doesn't feel natural.
I get that. We have some SIRT guns for the simulator range, and we ended up buying CO2 airsoft guns. No airsoft BBs. fill it up with CO2, and that could be dry fire. That seems to be closer.
Glock actually makes a green gas gun. Like Glock actually makes a green gas 19 that is it's an airsoft gun.
SIG makes a few of them
Yeah.
too, direct from their factory
Yep.
that are their CO2 guns.
Say, one of my guys, Travis, he has one, and we use it all the time
Yeah, I mean,
to shoot each other, of course.
right, obviously. But I think what. Not saying that the CERT is not the best, but it's better than nothing.
It is. CERT is better than nothing, but my thing is if you're going to spend $500 on a CERT gun, you can just spend $500 on a cool fire training.
True. And the other basic option is no laser. I used to put on like Law and Order, and I would sit in my bed and I'd press out, click. I'd have to rack it, and I would do that just to get
Paper clip. You can put a paper clip. Put a paper clip. Basically, just pull your slide back a little bit to where the barrel breaches. Put a paper clip in there. You're not going to get the reset, but you're going to get the full travel of the trigger. But dry fire is huge. Like, so that's one of the things that, like, at the end of my class, when people are like, well, what can I do to prepare for the next class? Dry fire.
Sure.
Every damn day, and 30 seconds. Whoa. 30 seconds to like a minute is all you need to dry fire.
Sure.
Like, you don't need to spend 20 minutes, 30 minutes a day.
Right.
I don't even do that. Like, I'm horrible with it. I can tell you, like, I've been bad about dry firing lately because of how busy we've been.
Yeah.
But typically 30 seconds to a minute. So if you know today you were carrying your appendix, I would have cleared it, emptied it out, ammo over here, go to the next room, light switch, just from how I'm carrying for the day, dry fire a few times after I get
couple
done.
iterations just to get.
And what you're wearing for that day, and then once you get comfortable with it for a minute, go back, load the gun, you're ready to roll. So now it's not your first time drawing from that clothing for that
the
day.
day. Yeah.
Because the thing is you're only as good
That's
like
great advice.
task dev. So one thing that I've learned from the guys from task dev is you're only as good as your last cold start. My buddy Teddy taught me that is you're only as good as your last cold start. So that's why at the beginning of all my classes we do cold start drills, because that is how good you're going to be when the time comes.
If you had to.
Exactly.
Right.
So if you can get a couple dry fire reps in, you do that 10 times a day, 1,000 times a week,
Right.
30-some, 40-some thousand times a year. Those are all good, consistent reps. That
And I think the rep out of the holster is an even more important rep than the dry fire rep.
Oh yeah, 100%. So like what I do is I literally I start here like 3 or 4 times, then come up and
Do
meet
that
my
a couple
hands,
times,
and then come to full presentation a few times, and
Sure.
then squeeze the trigger a few times, and then all right, I'm good. Go about my day.
I'll tell you a funny story. So back when I very first got into guns, that was that customer that came in and wanted my new carry gun, right? So
Yes.
I bought a M&P Compact in 40. So I gave myself a bad habit.
Yeah.
A flinch, totally. It's like, and that's why I'm so adamant with that new customer. Listen to the employees. I didn't have somebody telling me that that's going to be a bad
Yeah.
idea. All I had was, well, the FBI switched to it, so it must have been cool. So, and yeah, I absolutely developed a flinch that it took years of the dry firing and the training to break that.
Oh yeah. Like so, what I do is when I have people with bad habits on the range for me when they come to a first class, I'll tell them about the habit and what they're doing because they don't realize they're doing it.
Right.
And if they keep doing it, I start pinching them.
Yeah.
And then the pinch, it hits that
It'll
audible,
trigger
and it triggers it,
yeah.
and they're like, "Oh, you fucking pinched me. Okay, fix my grip.
Yeah.
Okay, fix my grip." And then that's kind of how I try and break that habit really, really quick, and it actually works pretty
Sure.
good because they're like, "Fuck, why'd you pinch me, dude?"
Any other questions? Oh, you got something to add?
Yeah. Question for training side of things. We get asked a lot in the shop. What do you guys think about laser systems, different accessories on concealed carry guns? What's your thoughts on that, Frank?
So lasers, I don't think lasers should be used anything outside of training. Because the thing is, if you put a laser on your carry gun or whatever it may be, and you practice with that laser, what happens when the battery dies?
Sure.
So you go life-threatening situation, you have that endorphin dump, and you start shaking, you start losing all those fine motor skills, you reduce back to gross motor skills, you go and draw, and you present, and there's no laser, you're going to hesitate. I don't give a fuck who you are, you're going to hesitate.
Totally.
It doesn't matter how many times you've done it because you've used that laser so many times that it's like a cat. A cat sees a laser or a dog hears the chain to a laser.
Yep.
Immediately your dog comes running out like, oh, there's a fucking laser around here. I hear it.
Right.
Same thing with you. You draw, there's no laser. You hesitate, that half a second could be life or death.
And the other thing that what I used to teach on the laser side is that the laser will never move. Will never stop moving.
Yeah.
All right. So there were some drills, like I don't remember what instructor it was, where you essentially make big figure eights
Yeah.
and you press when it's over, when you have the sight picture.
Yeah.
So imagine your laser constantly doing that. Your brain wants the dot to stop moving,
Yeah.
and that's
It's
gonna
never gonna happen.
that's gonna induce a hesitation no
Yeah.
matter who you are. Also,
So to me, using a laser for any kind of dry fire is good, but life or death carry guns, no, I don't agree with it. I mean, there's probably people out there like, oh, this guy's fucking retarded, doesn't know what he's talking about. But just think about the process. Is like I said, we do a lot of cognitive thinking drills to get you to understand that when you have that endorphin dump, that this shit stops working.
yeah,
Because all the blood's rushing to your core to try and protect your vitals. So
Right,
now
yeah,
you have to worry about hitting that tiny button.
we're training you not to be good,
Yeah.
not to be the guy better than everybody next to you at the next class. We're
Yeah.
training you to survive
Yeah.
that encounter.
Exactly.
Any more, Jake?
Let's see. Josh just asked when handgun rifle shotgun courses will be available with like a refresher for handgun and beginner rifle course. Kind of covered that with Frank's training schedule.
Yeah,
remember that. We'll
wrap up
hopefully, we'll wrap up here. We'll hopefully have our carbine class, which probably a good stepping for yours too, because the carbine class I wrote is actually the first 4 hours is like an entry-level armorer's class.
Yeah.
So the first 4 hours is stripping it down, cleaning it, maintaining it, and then the second half focuses on a little bit of shooting drills, but a lot about malfunctions.
Yeah.
That's what I'm good at. I'm good at knowing what goes wrong with the rifle.
Yeah.
And then the next step would be to go and take some stuff from Frank, or maybe we combine and do some
Yeah.
like a 2-day together. It would be
I'd be
fun.
down for that.
Yeah.
All my classes, like I said, level 2 carbines in January, level 2 handguns in February, and then all the level 1 classes start in March.
Cool. All right, so we're going to wrap it up. Once again, employees of gun stores, don't be assholes. Customers, don't be assholes. And I'm a big firm believer that the customer is not always right. So employees, do your best, but in the end, just smile and nod.
Be nice until it's time to not be nice.
Right. Let the guy, tell you about his political beliefs and the 50 guns he had from Nam.
Yeah.
But just smile and nod. It's not it's not going to ruin your day. So we will catch you guys next time. I'm sure we'll be out here again, hopefully with guns and shooting on the range. And thanks guys for watching. We'll catch you next time. AllstarTactical.com, Bull Creek Strategic, Escarpment Arms. See ya.
Thanks, guys.